Sadly, this is our very last day on board the Pacific Jewel, and this will be the very last time that we'll be able to sail on her. She's off to go to India, I believe. It's even more special in that it is Australia Day today, so the ship has been decorated in the Australia Day theme. There's games and activities already starting, even though it's quite early, but we're off to have our last breakfast on board of the Jewel in the pantry. There's a huge range of items that you can choose from. Jeff likes to get the hot breakfast. He's getting himself a mixed grill here. I usually stick to the cereals. I'm a little bit boring in that way, although I did get them to put it in a mug. So if you think the plates are too small, get yourself one of those great big soup mugs, because they will put your cereal in that for you. I'm a bit of a pig, aren't I, telling you those sorts of things on the video. We got ourselves set up toward the back of the ship and watched our sail through the heads at Melbourne, which is also called the Rip. Like many of the days on this trip, it was a tremendously beautiful sunny day. I have to say tremendously because I get excited when I see the sun. Coming from Hobart, we don't tend to see it all that often.
Eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche, we're on the run, this is what we waited for.
So we're making a final journey into Melbourne, and we're just checking out some of the scenery at the back on the Oasis deck and taking in the very last day of cruising that we have left. We are planning our next non-cruising holiday. You got any ideas for where we should go next? Put them in the comments section. We love to hear where you think we should go, but just don't say go get stuffed. The ship is running a little late this morning. We had an emergency evac from the top deck with the helicopter yesterday afternoon, which has put us about an hour or so behind. So hopefully that person is okay, and it's given us that little bit of extra time on the ship. We have a late disembark this afternoon then. That puts us at 2:30 getting off the boat. This is the latest that we've ever had getting off the boat. Usually we're getting kicked off really early in the morning. So there's still activities and things going on up until that particular point. They literally kick you off. Yeah, if you're really looking forward to a cruise, don't judge it on the last day, because basically the last day you feel like, right, it's over, get out of our hair. It honestly feels a bit like that. Not so much today because they are doing some extra activities, so it's not the same as what it would normally feel. Lucky for us, we don't have flights booked until tomorrow, but there are quite a few people lined up at the atrium this morning trying to renegotiate schedules for flights, as they're going to miss theirs this afternoon. So again, if you're cruising, keep in mind maybe a day in and out of your cruise date, just in case there are any unforeseen problems, because this was one that people weren't expecting. Especially if you're having to fly in. We don't have the advantage of living in Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane to get on a boat. We need to fly in from Hobart, and not a lot of flights in and out for us. And the same would go for places like Adelaide or Perth, where you have to exchange, or what do they call that, transfer your flight across. So keep that in mind before travelling on cruises. Don't miss your cruise because something has happened, and don't miss your flight going home for the same reason. Now, it was getting mid-morning. Does it sound bad if we were to roll up to the bar this early and get ourselves a strawberry daiquiri for the sail in? It does take 2 hours from the heads. You know what? I don't feel bad about having a strawberry daiquiri on Australia Day. I can tell you now, we'll be having a few beers later on as well. Happy Australia Day!
already packing. Come with me, I'm not really
Just when you think you couldn't get any more spoilt, we had a great view of the Roulettes who were putting on a show over Melbourne. Just a little more time on deck and then we had to go to the dreaded wait. The wait to get off with everybody else. And this is the time that I usually start crying because I don't want to get off. I'm like one of those kids that are 5-year-old on a ride. It's kicking and screaming. Always a bit of a process getting off, but we managed it. It's a bit sad getting off the Jewel today, given that that will be the very, very last time that we'll have to sail on her unless we want to go to India. So it was a very sentimental trip. 4 times on the Jewel. Enjoyed every single minute of it. It didn't take long to get happy again. We caught up with Craig and Liz. We'd met them on the cruise a year ago and we've become really great friends. And that's what you'll find when you go cruising. You'll make some great friends for life.
It's an opener too.
I love that.
It's brilliant. No, it's good.
Oh, they're dying. He signed it.
They'd come over to stay at Carlton, which is where we were staying for the very last night before we headed home tomorrow.
What date is it?
After a few drinks, we headed to one of the local Italian restaurants for a meal together.
The bar mats have been given to us by a pub. And now we can do something on the show with that, saying, well, this has been given us by the guy.
living life with the lights out, down with my own doubts. Be free with me. Be free.
In no time at all, it was the next morning, back on the plane, checking out the smoke from the bushfires.
Up here, imagine what it's like down there.
And so, our amazing trip has come to an end. We've hoped you enjoyed this series with us on the Pacific Jewel for the very, very last time here in Australia. Thanks for being a subscriber and keeping on watching the channel and giving us thumbs ups and lots of comments. We look forward to catching you in our next big adventure. Stay tuned.